Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. It's an honor to be with you at this point in our podcast series.
Looking forward to your questions.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about, personal brand in general and how one can go about it, when they go about their lives and how to use it efficiently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my first question would be, what are the things you have to consider when building your personal brand?
Well, I think probably one of the first places I would always start is, do you want to do this? Because I think there's a lot of people that go, I know I need to actively be working on my personal brand or I need to be more intentional, but they just don't want to do it. And I think that's a really important difference because it takes a bit of work.
Yeah.
We all have a brand, but we can be so much more intentional with that brand that opens up more opportunities for us. And I think that's the difference. So for me, the first thing is, do you actually want to do this? And for what purpose? And what's the end goal? Do you want promotion or do you want to impact more people? Or, do you want to be that memorable leader that people go, wow, they really changed the way that I do business and show up at work because they inspire me. So I think that for me is the most important thing.
It's a good point, you because I think there should be that willingness to actually do this and the intention, which you said.
So with the willingness and the intention, and what's the goal?
Yeah.
So what is it that you want to do? Do you need to maybe work on some skills? Like maybe you need to get better at storytelling and can you go and do some courses? Or do you need to get better at public speaking? Or maybe, coming up with great initiatives within the workplace and introducing them? And where and how can you build upon some of those skills to help you become more visible? And I think that's the piece is visibility isn't just something that happens overnight. It's something that we actually put effort into.
I agree.
Whether that's more visible networking, whether that's online or offline, visible events that you might attend, or awards, or supporting your team, or showing up yourself. So I think a huge part of that is the intentional piece and what's the goal at the end of it.
That's a good point. You have the willingness, the intention, and then the goal.
Yeah.
So these are the three things you should be considering when you want to start that personal brand,
and
which is
then
good.
I think from there I would do an audit. And I would do a little bit of a Google search or ChatGPT. This is a new one I've introduced, actually. So Google's great to see what comes up. And usually 9 times out of 10, LinkedIn is usually the first name platform that will come up with your details on it. But I've actually done a few ChatGPTs with potential clients or those that have become clients, and what comes up about you and where are those links coming from, because that's the digital presence. I think your personal brand is a digital version of you, but it's also an in-person version of you, and the goal is that when someone meets you in person, that matches the digital version, and vice versa. The digital version is the same person that you meet. And I've been in this situation where I've had great communications with people via email and seen them maybe online, and then I've met them in person and I'm like, oh, you're not quite the same, and the trust goes a little bit there.
That's true. Yeah.
So I find that one of the best compliments for me personally is when people can say, oh wow, you really come across, when they meet me in person, you come across like you do online as you do in person. That I would
this
like
is the
to
impression
say,
I had.
And I think that then is a good representation of your personal brand, because then it's authentic.
Yeah, and it's not, as what you said, the opposite. It's fake, We want to be real and authentic when you present yourself digitally. It's really good. Talking about skills, right? Do you need to be focused on a specific skill when you do your personal branding, or it can be a mixture of everything that you're good at?
I think that's a great question, because ultimately personal branding is uniquely you.
Yes.
So it's got to be your strengths and your skills. But I think one observation I get from a lot of people is that they go, but I don't know what I'm good at. Or I don't know what I can talk about. Like, surely everyone's good at that.
Yeah, and where should I start?
Yeah, so one of the things that I encourage clients that I work with is to do expertise tracking
Okay.
of what you can do. So just every day, write down things that you did that you're like, oh, that, for example, today I spoke on a podcast. So maybe it could be, or you spoke on a podcast, so it could be maybe communication skills or speaking skills. Like that's a strength that I have because I maybe want to do more of them,
Yeah.
or I really enjoyed it and I want to get better at it.
Yes.
So I think tracking what you currently do to see, okay, these are the things that I do, and then understanding where are you on that journey. So are you on the beginner part of that journey, or are you on the intermediate part where you could maybe help some people, or are you on the mastery part where you're like, do you know what, no, I could take people deep into this skill? That's the real reflection piece, and I think that's when personal branding is intentional, because you start the reflection, you really start focusing on what am I good at, what are my strengths, where are my weaknesses, how can I get better at them, and then putting that into something that is tangible that can be used to help other people, or into content that you can share online.
This is very, very good, because after I told you that obviously I told everybody that I'm very proud that I was part of the masterclass, your masterclass for personal branding, and the audit that you just mentioned, and the intention, everything, the things that we have to consider. It's a very good example, because when I posted my story, after that masterclass on my Instagram, and I got a lot of, I would say, interest and views, if that's what you call it.
Impressions.
Yeah, impressions.
Was it on LinkedIn?
Yeah, no, on Instagram.
Okay.
And at the end of everything, like in the evening, I was thinking, how was I able to get these kind of impressions? So probably people like me to talk about my story, or people don't want to see pictures of me. They want to hear something from me. So it's really fascinating that if you have that intention and you also want to build the willingness to build your personal brand, and you also do auditing, which is an important post things that you need to do. So it's pretty amazing that you were able to help me with that,
Yeah.
It's
That's
very
really
encouraging.
That's great, then it's just building on to that storytelling, building your story bank, which was one of the things. If I remember where you were sitting, I said, what's one of the things you're going to do? And you'd said, tell my story and build my story bank. Was that right?
Correct, yes.
So how did you find out about the masterclass?
How did I find out? Well, it's one of the initiatives of the company Knightsbridge Group to bring us closer to ourselves and learn personal branding.
Yeah.
I think we started building that into creating vision boards of what we want to be.
Yeah.
So one of the few things I wrote on my vision board was, be healthy, eating the right kind of food, because Asian, we love rice, Filipinos. So eating the right kind of food, and building that connection with the people, like doing skydiving, for example, because one of the things that I like, So, and I was really happy that I was there. Because it made me realize a lot of things. I was calling our COO and I was telling her, you should send me in all of these kind of things. And I want to be with Kelly. I want to have something, perhaps personally. If it's something professionally, then I want to also build the relationship with you and have that kind of, consultation with you and understand what I can improve myself.
I think that's a really interesting piece of the awareness of that it comes personally. So that's back to you've got to want to do that.
Yeah.
But also I would say that there's the element of investing in you. It's not in work time.
Yeah.
It was you actively going out. And it's one of the things that I mentioned earlier in an earlier podcast about investing in mentorship, investing in courses, like this has all been done for me throughout my business, which has given me so many skills that I can apply and share with clients and add value to them. And that's got to come off your own accord.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is when you really see the benefits and the ROI of your personal brand. There was a great Alex Hormozy quote where he had said, instead of investing in yourself is the best investment that you can get. And when he did the numbers, he said, instead of the S&P 500, invest in the SME 500, as in me, you. And I really liked the analogy of it, because it made me think about if someone was going to work with me, for example, just to keep maths easy, say it's $10,000 to work with me.
Yeah.
Can I make them more than 10%? Because let's just say on the S&P 500, if you could get 10% return consistently, I think you'd be like, okay, that might be quite good.
Yeah.
So could I help you earn more than 10% on your $10,000 investment? Hands down, easily. And that's when I go, yeah, that $10,000 investment, like what you will get back when you invest in yourself is next level.
Yeah.
Financially and the confidence as well.
Yes. Well, I was not expecting all those return of investment in the initial part of things.
And in the short space of time.
Yes, because I want to I want to show to the world who I am. And it's sometimes when you are in this kind of industry, sometimes it's difficult because you're used to what you're doing, and you forget that, oh, I did this, I should be proud of it. And that could be my story, that could be my personal brand. And you made me realize that when I was on the way home.
Oh,
so it's really
moment.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to ask last question before we end this podcast. Let's say that we have, or I have built that personal branding, my personal brand, and I've reached wherever I want to reach at that point of time. Did you have, based on your experience, had any possibilities or opportunities that you turned down because it didn't align with your personal brand? And how did you make those kind of decisions?
So I think you never reach the end of your personal brand. I think because you're always evolving, you're changing as a person, you're learning new skills. You have different, the environment changes, you have different opinions. What was maybe a viewpoint you had 5 years ago might have evolved into a different viewpoint now. So I don't think that there's ever an end point, but there's definitely goals you can reach and milestones for sure. Saying no to working with brands, absolutely. And I think what it dials down into being really clear as to what are my personal brand values. So one of the activities that I do very early on with clients is getting them to be really clear about what their values are, because that goes into their biography, that goes into their content that they share, that shapes who they are and how they show up. So for me, working with a brand has got to align with, for me, health, which is one of my personal brand values, empowerment, inspiration, goals, ambition, these kind of things. For me, they're strong values. So I was recently approached by RightBite, which is a food delivery service, and they asked if we could do a 3-month collaboration. For me, that was a massive yes, because it ticked the feeling good about myself, my personal brand, it ticked the health. Like, there were so many things that said yes, but equally there's been ones that this is going to be a lot of time. And it doesn't align with the version that I am right now. That's not to say that maybe in the future, but I think that there's got to be more than one thing and one reason why it sort of ticks the box with you. Yeah, so it's about, at the moment, it's it depends on where you are right now, and not saying no to everything. There will be chances later on, and it will be beneficial for you. You never know. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Kelly. You're welcome.
It's lovely. I want to talk to you for the entire day and learn a lot of things from you. But thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll definitely see each other soon. And well done on taking the action. Yes. I love when I see that people come to an event and then they actually follow through with action. So thank you so much. You're an inspiration.